So the text which we are going to deal with is the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra, which is composed by Shantideva, and then Shantideva is known to compose actually three different texts: the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra, Shiksha Samuccaya, and the Sutra Samuccaya. So for the practice, actually, it is known that the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra exceed all the other texts. So one of the advantages of the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra is that it is very easy to apprehend, and at the same time it is said that it is composed particularly for the beginners and those who engage themselves into the practice of the Buddhism. Having said that, it is very easy to apprehend, but later you may find it is difficult. So it is actually wise to tell you now that 9th chapter is a little bit difficult to understand. Of course, those who have not involved in the study of the Dharma, for them it may be a little bit difficult, but since you have actually engaged into the study before, so it may not be that difficult for you. So far we have found two books actually in the English version of the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra of the root text, but we are still not in a state to tell you that how accurate or how authentic they are.
Jagar ke do Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra. Jagar na ye bi Sanskrit ke ne yum dile tende se yore.
So at the very beginning of the text of the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra, it says Jagar Ketu Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra. So in an Indian language, or the Sanskrit language, book is titled in this way.
Then back at the two juna,
when it is translated into Tibetan language, then it is said in a text in Tibetan language, it is known as a gateway to the practice of bodhisattvas. The title of this particular text is actually allocated, or title is given by the composer himself.
Yes.
There are some titles which doesn't correspond with the meaning. There are some, but this, the particular title of the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra has a meaning, and it corresponds to the main structure of the text itself. Bodhisattva, actually the word bodhisattva is explained in such a way that the bodhi actually means that is the synonym of the Buddha, and then sampa means one who has a sort of courage to attain that state of the Buddhahood.
Then Sheba and Juba Sheba and the Shava Luma is soon Shava Sonju and Shava. Juba Sana Shava Shebi Tap the Jusu Shava Shebi to tap like Juba.
So the second part of the title of Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra in Tibetan is Chöpa and Jukpa. So the Chöpa, in fact, refers to conduct of the Bodhisattvas, and then Jukpa means enter into it, engage into it, and that refers to the means and method, actually how you get into the conduct of Bodhisattvas.
Songje dong Shongju Samba Tamje la Shantalo Songje Tamje Shongju Samba Tamje la Shantalo.
So next line of the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra, it says, Sangyata Changchu Semba Tamchela Chatsala. And so I prostrate to the Buddhas and then all the Bodhisattvas. So this line is not actually, within the text of the Bodhisattvacaryāvatāra, it says, which is composed by the main composer Shantideva, but later when the translators, they translated this text into the other language, they have added this the line, saying that prostrate to or reverently towards the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. When we deal with the explanation of the text, actually it is mainly classified into two main categories. That is the first preliminary of the text, and then and the actual part of the text.
Nimba Higgins, Khenchen Appey Rinpoche, Sumba Bodhisattva Mes Kimbayu.
So in regard with the first part of the explanation of the text, which is preliminary, which has also three classifications. The first part is they're taking a refuge of the making a prostration to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And then second is just making a pledge or taking vow to write the text, compose the text. And then third, the category of this text is actually to present or to demonstrate the humbleness of the composer.
Devar Keba Chuchi Kukna, Sedon Chebala, Kube Shanta, Shao Ganlam, Kube Shanta Sedu, Tombataga, Genchusum Shanta, Nimba de Genchusum, Jamne, Genchusum Mena, Shao Tamchela, Shanta, somebody.
So the first two lines of the preliminary part, which says that I, the prostrate to the Tathagata, who is endowed with the Dharmakaya, along with all the Bodhisattvas. Here is the sons of the Buddha, that refers to the Bodhisattvas. Whoever are the worthy of veneration, I prostrate to them. So here, with these two sentences, lines, the composer makes prostration to Triple Gem, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and at the same time, those whoever are the worthy of veneration, like Bodhisattvas, Shravakas, and Pratyeka Buddhas. The first very word here in Tibetan actually is the Deshek, which in Sanskrit is Sugata. That actually refers to the one gone into bliss, and blissfully one gone, and traverse the path in the blissful way, which actually refers to the Buddha himself.
Sugata sedu suseju deva dudu chena deva ngata heba sono somi dando limban. Keso deva heba sedu There were Shudu Churbachi, Yebi, Kosana, Songana, they were Heba, Sanandriya.
So the word Deshek in Tibetan and which in Sanskrit is Sugata. Actually, Su in a Sanskrit, the first word actually means the bliss or the happiness, the extreme, the perfect happiness or perfect bliss. And Shekpa means the traverse towards, or travel towards that path or that objective where we wish to attain. So, and as a whole, the Devashikwa means one who travels to the path which is excellent to be obtained. If a lot of explanation is given, it may actually aid more confusion to you, to the students. So anyway, actually, the explanation, there should be some explanations.
Sungata sajude, dege parchuju travesuna, shibjaje sumbari, su sajude, lebato, flan medopato, maluba, setanzo sumne kongress. So, in fact, there are different versions of explanation on the word su itself, su in Sanskrit, which is bliss. And in accordance with the Dharmakriti, actually it is explained in such a way that su has three different distinctive meanings. One, su means the perfect, and then another meaning of the su is irreversible, which never returning back, and one which is exceptional completeness, that is completeness. Then gata sungete hipa sujungata de, then the near congregation, then bomba do, then zoba, he's a doba don't bomba.
So the second part of the word gata in Sanskrit, which also in accordance with the Dharmakriti, actually it refers to the abandonment of all sort of the negative activities of the oneself, and at the same time realization of the perfect, the enlightenment of the Buddhahood. So that refers to, gata refers to the abandonment and realization.
Gata sejutanse imbotere su sejutanse sumse social jarulu pena lebar toba to sangene sumjana lebar toba shirme dobar toba maluba toba on jana lebar pomba shirme doba pomba maluba pomba.
If you, having actually understood the meaning of the su and gata in this way, if you try to connect those two together, then it will come to a meaning. Su gata actually means the perfectly understood. The perfect from the su, and then understood, or the realization from the second part of the word gata. So perfectly realized or perfectly understood. And then the Sugata also refers to perfectly unreversible, irreversible, perfectly irreversible. Means one gone, beyond the sort of limit, and then from there's no actually they return back, and then the perfectly completeness or the thoroughness.
Pon lebar pomba sana nyamomba pon segari. The nyamomba the pon Khenchen inza the pon do lebar pomba.
So when we try to describe about the abandonment, word abandonment, So what you abandon is you abandon the emotional afflictions, because the emotional afflictions are the one which are to be abandoned. So these emotional afflictions are abandoned thoroughly, completely, and perfectly. So when we talk about the emotional afflictions, we are referring to the attachment, the miseries, and the hatred, ignorance, and these things. Then second part of the abandonment is that you are abandoning the negative emotional, mental afflictions in an incomplete way, without exception. So that actually refers to the contamination which blocks the wisdom, actually, which blocks one to attain the wisdom. And then the antidote, which is the conceptualization. So actually one need to, in this case, abandon means abandoning the conceptualization. Then the abandoning irreversible way, that means that once you abandon the negative emotions, then there's no way that the negative emotion will give rise into you. Perfectly comprehending or perfectly realizing, that means realizing the true nature of phenomena. Without exceptionally realizing or realizing completely, that means realizing or the understanding the meaning of all the phenomena. And then irreversibly realizing, so that here it refers to the realizing something which never fade or which never decayed. So these are the explanation of the Sugata word, Sugata, and this is an explanation on the Buddha, which is one of the triple gem.
Chuji ku sana chu kenchu nga sana songje le chu kenchu ye chimpan legi kongje chu kenchu kyebar.
So the word Chuchikunga, Deshik Chuchikunga, actually means that the Buddha Sugata, one who is endowed with Dharmakaya. So Chuchikunga means one who is endowed with Dharmakaya. He also refers to the Buddha himself.
The chu kenchu sengdel yin yebari, do bi chu dong long bi chu.
For the Dharma as a jewel, there are two categories again. There are the realization part of it, and then abandon teaching versions of the Buddhist doctrine, and then the realization of it.
Tobi chu seng de ngo den do lam den ni de se to songje ge tu ju ge jian bong bi cha de ngo den songje ge ye he de lam den se de ni tobi chu.
So when we talk about the Dharma of the realization, realized Dharma, that refers to two qualities of the Buddha, which are actually known as the truth of cessation and truth of path. So when we talk of truth of cessation, that actually refers to abandonment of all sort of the negative emotion by Buddha, and then the truth of path refers to the wisdom acquired by Buddha, having abandoned all the negative emotions. So the doctrine of teaching, or the teaching of Dharma, actually here refers to the Buddha's teaching, which is actually comes in the form of the Tripitaka, or the three baskets. So here in Tibetan text here, then we have a Seiche in the Tibetan word. That means along with the ears. Is that correct? How do you pronounce this word for the sun? Ears? H-E-I-R-S. Ears. Ears, okay. So Seiche means along with ears. Ears here refer to the Bodhisattvas. I mean, ears of the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas. And here, when we talk about Bodhisattvas, the Bodhisattvas who have reached to the level of the first bhumi.
송제 콜로 로마 종주 선바동 테메니요. 종주 선바에서 네 세세게 임바리. 송제 종주 선바는 게 얍차고요. 년도 돼서 몽다브리. 송제의 년도 넘네 얇고 차고요.
So the Bodhisattvas actually are called ears, because the Buddha actually becomes like a father to them, father to the Bodhisattvas. That's why they are called the Bodhisattvas, the ears. And then when it's as far as concerning the Sharvakas, or the solitary hearers and solitary realizers, they are falls in the category of the subject, not son, subject, because Buddha will become, to them actually Buddha become like a king or emperor, and then they are the subjects. So in Tibetan word we have a che. Che is including along with all the bodhisattvas. That means that this composer is not only actually taking refuge or making prostration to Buddhas, but to the bodhisattvas and then Sharvakas and Prateka Buddhas. So after here actually we have explained that the three objects of the refuge of the Mahayana. And the second line actually, in Tibetan we have Chawu Kunlang. That means I also make prostration to those who are worthy of veneration, worthy of prostration. So here actually says that though they are not the perfect object of refuge, because perfect objects of refuge are only Buddha, Bodhisattvas, Dhamma and Sangha. Even others like Bodhisattvas who have not reached to the level of the first bhumis, as long as they are the worthy of veneration, I make prostration. So the word chaksal in Tibetan actually means the prostration, to make a prostration, bow down. So which actually means that respectfully paying a veneration to somebody.
야라글루 지레 내가 여보시류 내가 누구지 구세보나 telegram 내가 여보시가는 본보소수 대바야서잖아 샹사리야 그때론 참았는데 대조 상담시도 뭐 샹사리야.
So the purpose of the bowing down and making prostration to bodhisattvas, even in actually daily life, in the mundane existence in our daily life, if we are going to engage to conduct worthy things, we always pay respect to somebody. So in a similar way, with the devotion in your mind, before composing the text, and then the composer or the translator always bow down to the Triple Gem with a respectful manner. So, having made prostration to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, then what would the composer will do? So, the next line will explain. In the next line it says that Deshik Seji Domla Njupani Jyobarcha. That means I will explain how to conduct into the ethics or the moral discipline of the Bodhisattvas.
Then, one of the Sonja Gama Sung Tava Hindu, the Teron get to some of the longer Keba invested me. Lungiandos, Sonja Sumba, they non true Yandusana, non true Meba. Lungle Sumba, Chitawa Yandu carry in Sumba. Lungian Jefferson.
So this the second line of this particular verse, which says that Lungshin Jyoparsha, that means that actually I'm not going to explain anything actually extempore, actually just actually whatever pops up in my mind, but I would explain in accordance with the teachings expounded by Buddha.
Dodune, ona sonje sung sadu chalung jar hebala gowa yerosana, sonje sung ja chembo ko kawo yore, konge no dudushe, sonje sung no dudushe ko devochini keri.
So if that is the case, then some may ask a question. So what is the purpose of actually repeating actually Buddha's teaching? If you are just going to explain something which has already been expounded by Buddha, what is your purpose? So he says here in text, Dordu Nene, that means actually I'll explain it in concisely in a precinct way. Compared compendium or short form and concisely.
Did you some do Tati Kavatamcha Gubing Eva Merite? She Goyaje, Tamcha says Sana, Tenelagate, she Goya Choweva himself. Tamcha Cheva.
So actually this is the vow made by the composer to compose or to complete his work. In fact, it is not necessary to actually make kind of the pledge to complete the text. But once you make a complete vow, then it actually facilitates you to actually get into it seriously to complete it.
That came by Shumasarina. The Tandana of the Shenju Samerke, so Yandan Sheva man, so Rondan to Sheva, he Sheva, Yinayon. Yen pen to Sona Gabo yes against it and
so the next coming verse is actually talking about the demonstrating the composer's the humbleness, actually, how humble he is. So here in this verse, he says that actually, I have no skill, or I'm just lack of any kind of lyric ability or beauty or rhetoric kind of skills to compose the text. Nor I have any kind of thought that by composing this text, this will benefit others. But I'm composing this merely to acquaint into my mind, to get my so in the one part of it, actually, it says that I have no actually sort of any kind of disposition or thought of helping others or benefiting others. So that sounds like a little bit actually against to the Bodhisattva actually way of thinking. But here the composer actually stresses or gives emphasis that through his actually kind of ability, whatever ability that he has of composing the text, there may not be any kind of wholesome things that can benefit others. So that is just to demonstrate his humbleness. So another reason actually saying that no thought of benefiting others is that as he is explained earlier, that I have nothing new to explain other than the repeating the teaching which is expounded by Buddha himself. So there's very little that he can that will bring about benefits to others. So as the composer or the author explained that he has no new things to explain or share to the others, then some may think that actually even if he has no new thing to share others, but he may have some kind of skills or particular qualities that he wants to display or demonstrate to others. So here, for that also he says that I have not any actually the poetic or rhetoric, lyric skill to make the readers they happy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Tibetan word actually is we have ang. Actually, that is kind of the particle, which actually conjuncting particle, which shows that neither I have new things to tell you, nor do I have any the skillful way of composition to show you. So the last line of this verse then that says that actually as a conclusion, therefore, after citing all the reasons, then he says the teacher, therefore, Shendun Sambayang Dalame, that means I have no sort of thought to bring about any kind of benefits to others. So with this verse, actually, until this line, it mainly explains that his purpose of composing these texts is not for others.
Then a wrong yila gums in the zone, wrong samla gums and Tibachimbulam then can't be sure to do. Then he will nature to somebody.
The next line then it says that actually then what is the purpose? If you then it says Rangi Hila Gomching I compose these texts to season my mind, or to get my mind accustomed to in the advanced practice.
Geva Gamshil Geva Sana Tibachmulam Gambi Shurdu Deva Yegulu. Then you Samna wrong assembly, Deva opposite to the Hilsum, Dog Debbie Q. The Lucky Chang Sana. Deva say Taki to was on someone of reality. There must say, thank you, somebody Taki. Deva Rehi Pearl you. Deva Penat and Deva give a come to
So the author here says further that in order to get accustomed my mind into the practice, there is a need of the faith and the devotion. In order to increase the faith and devotion, I have written these texts, composed these texts.
Then, that's a sumba. A young yellow pentona gabo years, something. Yellow pent will be the one made by man.
So the third sort of classification explains that even if I have no thought of actually benefiting others, but still there is some kind of expectation, because if it will help others, then I would be happy.
Dadon karwa nyamba yenji chung jiten zira thonate. Jite dadon karwa nyamba rondo chungba rongle towa le gumate. Rondo chumbi konza yenji chung dera senju ki tsidon ten dera thona dan ya ranjuru pendo shegu yesu.
So if the people who have same kind of the disposition or inclination that I have, if they chances upon these the texts, the meaning and the words of these texts, they will be benefited.
I young tangomare, the tansen of sumi, tombo teba chimbu lam nyam sulembe, then nimba teba chimbu lam somba lam jin rebu to sum.
Then
tombo then nimba lam somba rebu.
So now we come to the actual, the sort of structure of the text itself, which has three classifications. The first of which is the vessel through which you engage into the practice of the Dharma, or the practice of the Bodhisattvas. And the second is the path itself, through traversing which you attain the enlightenment. And then third is the result or the state of the perfect Buddhahood.
Tombo ten tele teba chembu chu nyomne cheba ten ni gu yer lubo ten do sampe ten ni.
For the vessel, when you talk of the vessel through which you practice the Buddha's teaching, then one need two different kinds of vessels, which are actually your physical body and your mind.
The tombo lu de teba chu nyomne chebi lubo kandre gu sana miglu chu yan ken ke miglu chi gu sumba.
When we deal about the first vessel, which is the the one's physical body, then the physical body actually refers to the body which can become a vessel to engage into the Dharma, and which has a capacity to get into practice.
단절들이 예발 현도가 제비 단로 토바를 줄바라 가든들라 판바 마도나 신데 용단절과 칼란죠. 단절 글룬데 미글루 짬마레 추연행글루 단절 연된 총일루지 그래 잡아 단절 다라와기 연된 제 절와기 연된 주 연된 주 총일루본데 예발 힌두가 힌두 내중 톱하고 해서.
So to explain these about the vessel which is the physical body, then the first line of the verse says that Tanjo Denishin Dunyapraka. So that means that actually the physical body which is endowed with 8 leisure and 10 endowments are extremely difficult to obtain.
전에 단조르스들이 다르와스나 캄바 고가비야바 내가 집 고가비야바 다르와스들이 고가 맹행도 쏘는데 여와도 고가 메비 루텐데 제여버스 제동 드라마인자 다르와스 다르와제.
So when we talk about the first 8 leisure, it says the leisure. Leisure, in fact, means that actually you have a free time to do, or you have opportunity, you have chance to get into practice, engage yourself in the practice. So this actually, the 10th leisure is the 8th leisure is free from 8 sort of unconducive unfavorable condition. What do you call that? Unfavorable conditions. So which are the one which are free from the unfavorable conditions? There are 8 unfavorable conditions. Once you become free from that 8 unfavorable conditions, you will be endowed with 8 leisures.
megamba chushi para megamba te je yore mi mai bi samchen je mi ina chushi megamba samchen mare mi mai ba ye mi yana chushi megamba gilon je bi je.
So 8 unfavorable conditions, and that means actually you have no chance or no opportunity or no leisure time to engage into practice. So these, one may think that what these 8 are, they are divided into 2 kind of classifications. One is that the 1/4 of the non-human state, 1/4 non-human state. And another one is the 4 human state. Even if you are a human being, but you have no leisure or no opportunity to engage into practice.
Then me mai ba yesana nyarwa yedo tondo sakte Rinpoche yo sakhe ku ji ye.
Okay, so when we talk about the non-human states, there are the 4 of non-human states. There are, as you know, the hell realm, and then preta or hungry ghost realm, an animal realm, and the realm of the demigods. So these 4, set of 4 are known as the non-human states.
Then me yin se de la lo se chu ge tan ye me ge chu tan me ge la lo. Then gare. Then tsari sa la lo ta. Then kubwa. Sonje ji ton. Sonje me ve sa si ba. Kaze chu so.
No. So the four of the human state, actually, that means even if you are born in the form of the human, but if you are born as a Berberin, what we say in Tibetan Lalo, Berberin here refers to that you're born into the place or any country where there's no actually the sound of the teaching is heard. That is the one state. And another one is that even if you are born as a human being, if you have a wrong view towards the Buddha's teaching, so that is the second. And then not having the perfect sense organ, and not being born in the place where Buddha was not born. So these four are the unfavorable conditions of the human states. Then there are another set which is known as the 10 endowments. So 10 endowment here actually refers to the facilities or the favorable conditions. They are the 10 favorable conditions.
Me yimba. Me yimba.
Listen. Okay. The first of the 10 endowment is actually being a human being. Actually, you must be a human being. And then second of the 10 endowment is being born into the center part of the world, which actually center here refers to the place where the Buddha Dharma is well flourishing. One is endowed with the perfect sense organs. One has never engaged into the heinous crime. One has faith into the Buddha's doctrine. And one is born into the place where Buddha was born. Not only that Buddha was born, but actually Buddha has expounded teaching. And it is not only that Buddha has expounded teaching, but the teaching is still existing. And there are the followers actually who follow the Buddha's teaching. And there are the benefactors or the sponsors actually who facilitate the practice of the teaching. So these are the actually 10 endowments, which plus with the 8 leisures, that is the 18 prerequisites which the human being need to engage into the practice. Yes. So the first line, when it says that it's very difficult to sort of obtain the human life or the human body, that actually refers to the human body which is completely endowed with these 18 prerequisites, 8 leisures and 10 endowments. Of course, there are reasons why actually there are not human beings who are endowed with these 18 prerequisites, because actually we'll find very limited actually human beings who are always actually engaged into the whole practice of the teaching or the wholesome deeds. So usually we find that actually living beings are migrating or into the just mundane existence, either in any of the realms, below which are lower than the mundane liberation.
Therefore, you then talk about the Tomna Pento Kayarasana, Shebu Tan Drew, Shebu the Samchin Nonke, Tanda Miute, Rujade, Toridum, Tarvari. They got Drumna Drup to the others, Tori Druna, Druto, Tarva, Teme Tava Druna, Druto, Lovis Sonja, Gomon Druna, Drup Tugri, just a fellow, Champo Yori.
So one may actually ask that what is the purpose of the benefit of obtaining this human life which is endowed with the 18 prerequisites. So here this line says that actually once one obtains the human body which is endowed with 18 requisites, and that will bring about, actually that will accomplish the purpose of the other beings.
That Tanin Lenchi Tobar Chuvala, Mulu Tobar Lenchi Rabres, that Tovala, Tenakachi Gurusana, Carten della, Luden de Totu della, Ron, Mount, Penche, John Rainbow Pen to be Tambichu, Tibachim Drup, Kasi, Madrup, Dele, Kokabi Obo, the Peshe, Majavayina, Sheen is Cheva Jemale. Ditsana, Tanjuglu, Ndetabu, Yontawa, Chi Njobaran, Tovar Kala Jurte Munjur.
So once you often you acquire the human body endowed with the 18 prerequisites, then one must try to make good use of it. Otherwise, if you are not trying to make good use of it, and it is in the later, actually there will be no opportunities that you will obtain this human birth again.
That you knowledge a gum to do, they will gum the chili, and you'll make us the Tanjur the top cow in some Jumsemo and some change. Tomna Penya, as a Tane Lenki top do choose Shishmadu, Tanjur the Mulute Kocha or Ship Gusam, Gum Google.
So when you practice, actually these the 4 verses here, which shows that difficulty of obtaining the human body itself will become the very sort of essence or the important the teaching on which you can contemplate and meditate. Like first you meditate on the difficultness, how difficult it is to obtain the human body which is endowed with 18 prerequisites, and then once you obtain it, you must actually make a good use of it. You must bring about the benefits about it. If you don't do that, actually, then you are just wasting the opportunity that you have obtained. So in this way, you can just sit down and then contemplate and meditate on this.
Nima Tiki Miglu Chozu Shijmidu some
not only to say that actually one's life itself is very important, and one should never actually waste one's life, but even days, even actually a day's life is though no matter how short it is, but it is very important, and should actually try to make good use of it.
Then, the Lubo thing, some good thing. Take what you young, but some country Google.
So until here, this is the explanation of the physical vessel, which actually the vessel means refers to the physical body of the oneself. And then now it explains the vessel of the mind or the mental vessel.
Then, get that time and our train room, alone get it on temper. They use some jet to Jalam Nanji, then Sanam Lord Tonga, Tombo, Betty here. Chitas pay you honor. Samo Mena train room the one that novel genus. Look to chew when I look at it on look and juguna. Get you some to that Tontung there. Convala so to go for up to Noah. Then to is big special. So here the next the verse explains about this mindset, what kind of actually mind that you should have to engage yourself in the practice. So here it shows an analogy, example, which says that just as the flash of lightning in the darkness covered by the clouds, which illuminate all the external phenomena, such as the house and everything. So here Nima may be some small, Dawa may be Karma may be 10 rooms.
So to explain in this way, actually, you need a little bit of Tibetan. Here in Tibetan we have Tsemo, Muna, Tirum. There are three the words. Tsemo, in fact, in Tibetan means that night in a dark. So the Tsemo here refers to the dark without the sun, ray of the sun. When there is no sun, it's a darkness, which refers to night. And then we have another word in Tibetan, Munak. Munak is, even actually it is the night, but the night, darkness of night where there is no rays of moon. And Tin Rum is actually in the midst of a sort of cluster of clouds. It means the darkness which is covered, even covered by clouds and made it more darker.
Then that member the Hirajan Buddhis, look the Hiro to the Tuntung Chile.
So the real meaning and what this sentence is going to show is that the darkness has a very, it has a long span. It's a long sort of long-lasting, the darkness. But the light, the rays are the short-lived.
They in Sonja Tui, that time kept the yin and that. Sonja Tui, Sonja Shanlap on Piers. Something Jula gave us a good some of the Sonja Shanlap to Queen. Shanlap Tui, Jalam such a Ringa Hevita, Siba Tamchi to set. Na, Ye dance and Samchen Jula, Sanam Yebi Lodu, Lodus and a son of the Moon there, Sanam them Lodu there, Tonga, Sam Ringa member Jugma is, Ringa Jugres.
So in similar way, Teshin Sangjituyan, in similar way, by the power of the blessing of the Buddha, and occasionally and momentarily there will arise within one's mind the awesome thought or the merit, as the lightning actually illuminates the darkness for some time, for instance.
The Sanam Lodu saying the Tagas gave you some with the ceremony, gave you some memorial.
Yes.
Indeed, gave you some such a thing. Some change it, and I'll say, go some Nije. 다간제 선생이 단다 세고 누선비 인제도 지 선생이 단다래 대바점 주 냐는 세고 누선비 대바점 주 대바니 선생이 인제도 대바점 주 대바니 근데 그 로드스 사람도 대니 얘나들 대바점 불남는 주도에 대니 선배 예수
So in a Tibetan, the line we have here, the Sonam Lodu actually, which is translated as, usually by the translator, translated as the wholesome thought, or the beneficial thoughts, the beneficial thought. But it is more than that, according to Rinpoche, is that it can be actually classified in two sections, like in compassion and faith. It is endowed with compassion, faith. Compassion in such that one has the thought to bring a benefit to the sentient beings, which is compassion, and at the same time one has a faith, which means that not only having sort of a thought of benefiting others is not enough, because you have to engage in it, you have to put that into practice. So the faith to practice what you have in your mind,